This week, your shared read is a realistic fiction. Realistic fiction is the type of genre that means it is a made up story. An author did use their imagination to make up the story. However, it's realistic. It has elements that could really happen. For example, it's not going to have talking animals or it's not going to take place in a far off land over the rainbow. So it could really happen. The essential question is, what do good citizens do? Read about a boy who chooses to be a good citizen. The title is A Difficult Decision. My best friend Paul and I were excited to go to the park after school. The park had a new fort. The parks department let the kids choose what kind of equipment to build, and the fort got the most votes. After school, Mom and I met Paul and his dad at the park. Paul and I raced to the top of the tower. "I win! I'm the champion!" I shouted. "Look, Paul, someone left the newest game master here. It's mine now." Paul raised his eyebrows and looked thoughtful. "Wyatt, you cannot keep that game master," he said. "You have a responsibility to return it. It is your duty." I asked, "Haven't you ever heard the saying, 'Finders, keepers, losers, weepers'? I have rights. I found it, so I am claiming it." "You can do whatever you want, Wyatt, but you know it's wrong to keep it," Paul said. Then he added, "Whenever there are issues like this at school, you're the one who helps solve the problems. Now you aren't taking your own advice." Then Paul added, "I volunteered my thoughts. If you don't want to take the help I offered, there's nothing I can do." Paul was right. I couldn't keep the game because it wasn't mine. The person who lost it would be upset. I cleared my throat and said in my best deep voice, "I've determined that you're right." "I'm delighted you decided to do the right thing," said Paul. We told my mother what happened. She walked around the park with us so we could try to find the owner of the game. Soon we saw a boy and his mom looking for something. He looked hopeless and he burst into tears when we asked him if the game was his. "Yes," he wailed, "I lost my game master a little while ago. I should have been more careful." Afterward, Mom and I walked home. I was glad I returned the toy to the boy. So I made a promise to myself to always try to do the right thing. Now that is a vow I can keep. Make connections. How are Paul and Wyatt good citizens? Paul and Wyatt made a good choice. They knew that the game master didn't belong to them, and they looked for the rightful owner. What is something you do to be a good citizen? Now I'd like to talk to you about your comprehension skill for this week, point of view. If you'll look at this side of the page, point of view, I'm going to read this section. A character telling the story has feelings about the events. This is the character's point of view. The words I, my, me, and mine tell who is speaking. Find text evidence. When I read the second paragraph on page 335 of A Difficult Decision, I can tell Wyatt is talking. I will look for clues to his point of view. And I'm going to flip back to that page so we can take a look at it. All right, here we go. Paul and I raced to the top of the tower. "I win! I'm the champion!" I shouted. "Look, Paul, someone left the newest game master here. It's mine now." All right, this is the point of view of Wyatt. I know that it's Wyatt's point of view because he's the one talking. He's saying, Paul and I raced to the top. Up here in the very first line, it says, my best friend Paul and I. So this story is being told from Wyatt's point of view. And here we see that Wyatt is thinking that he found the game master, so he should be able to keep it. If we move to the next paragraph here, Paul raised his eyebrows and looked thoughtful. Wyatt, you cannot keep that game master, he said. You have a responsibility to return it. It is your duty. Here I know that this is the point of view of Paul. He feels that Wyatt should return the game master and not keep it. So let's review. A character telling the story has thoughts about the events. This is the character's point of view. The words I, my, me, and mine tell who is speaking. Understanding a character's point of view will help you understand the story.